Hey, Slay Bays. Welcome to Ready, Set, Slay, my first ever podcast. I am so excited. I am Jenaé Rosé from Makeup Slay by Jenaé Rosé. I am a makeup artist and beauty influencer. I have been in this industry for about 10 years, and I love everything from fashion, glitter, glam, you name it. I love it. And this is my first ever podcast, and it's a girl boss edition. I have all ladies in the industry as well with me. So let's start the introductions. We're gonna start with Paula on the hair.
Hello, my name is Paula, and I am the founder of Transformed by Paula. I'm a hairstylist with over 15 years of experience. I specialize in extensions, color, weddings, and basically any special occasion.
Yes, thank you, Paula. Hi, Paula.
So I'm Stella. I am a wedding coordinator. I also do different events. I have 10 plus years of experience. I love everything weddings. I love parties too, but weddings have the most detail, and I'm all about the details. Based in South Jersey.
Yeah. Thank you, Stella.
My name is Gia Savage. I am manager and DJ at GP Entertainment. We specialize in weddings, but we do all kinds of affairs. Whatever you guys need, we got.
All right.
Hey everyone, my name is Marquita. I am the owner and founder of Jelly Kisses, which is a mobile bartending service. I have over 7 licensed bartenders in the tri-state area. I have 5 mobile pop-up bars, and we don't really have a specialty. I mean, we, accordingly to every event, weddings, birthday parties, barbecues, pop-up shops, book signings, you name it, we're there.
All right. And I hear that you bought us a little something for today.
Yes, I did. I have some treats for the ladies.
All right, we're gonna get them going. See what we got.
So I have 2 flavors for you guys today. I have Sex on the Beach, and I also have a mango mojito.
Oh, yes.
It's good.
I love Sex on the Beach. Like, that's like my go-to drink. Like, I'm like, I'll take a Sex on the Beach because it's like sweet. It has Is this Sex on the Beach?
Yes, this is Sex on the Beach.
Okay, I'm taking Sex on the Beach, guys. Sorry. Oh, yes. Oh,
And the next flavor we have is a mango mojito.
Mango mojito.
Mango mojito. Oh, I love it.
Now, I don't know too much about drinks. I just drink it.
Yes.
So my question for you, Marquita, is
Yes.
what's in the drink?
Okay.
Well, you can start with sex on the beach.
But the Sex on the Beach is my favorite go-to because I always get a request, when people come up to me and like, well, I want something sweet, but I want something with a little kick to it.
That's
Sex on the Beach for me, you can use any vodka base, and it calls for not triple sec, peach schnapps, cranberry juice, and orange juice. And I'm a person for detail, color, for presentation for me. Also within the Sex on the Beach, I also have a edible orchid, which is kind of like my signature, along with the smoking cocktails.
Yes.
And which is organic, so you can eat it. And when it's dipped inside your cocktail and soaked for a little while, you kind of get the taste of the flavor of the cocktail from the orchid. So I really like
so
using
cool.
that.
Yes.
I am loving this drink.
And with the mango mojito, which calls for club soda, rum. I always use Bacardi. I don't like to use cheap anything, but you have to, when you get to, do these events and, you ask, I always ask, what is your, your name? Like, what product do you like to use? Some people go to what they can afford. Some people go to what their stomach can take.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So with the mango mojito, I used a mango puree, Bacardi rum, mint leaves, club soda, and I always add a little bit of sweetener. Schnapps is always my favorite go-to. But
Yes.
I add a dash of that, and that's about it.
All right.
It is amazing.
I would like to have this every day. So
Sure.
I'm gonna need for you
I can
to
bag you
please-
up some, put them
Yeah.
in like a
No, I need
little
you to come
adult
to my
Capri Sun
home.
bag. Sure.
Yes.
I told you I have pop-up
Pop up
bars,
there,
so,
yeah.
Yes, please do.
I'll come
Please
pop up
do.
and set up shop.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna need this at my wedding as well.
I definitely will.
Yes, this is
Now,
everything.
what
I love
is the
this.
secret to the bubbling? Can you reveal that to us, or is that
I mean,
special
it's
jelly
not.
kisses?
Don't tell her. Don't tell her. Don't tell her. It is
but
a secret.
it's just dry ice. That's all it is.
That's,
Gotcha.
that's a really nice
It's a
touch.
good touch, though. I really like that.
I mean, I like to use it because it gets the crowd going. Like, it gets people coming closer.
Yes.
Like, oh, what is that? It's
Oh,
smoking. They
yeah.
don't even care if it tastes nasty or not. But it's the fact that they have something smoking. And then it brings the Miami and LA
Yes.
feel to
Yes,
Philly.
it does.
Right.
You know,
Yes, it
so
does.
that is kind of like why I started using the dry ice. Because I saw it one time, running through a page about, it's probably been like maybe 7 years since I've been doing this. And I was like, oh, well, it was hard finding it. And then it was like, well, I don't know if I can use it. And I had to do research on it because, it's always some people that, want to try the inevitable. Like, you can't eat it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that would not be pretty.
And sometimes, like, I have done, like, junior, like, little kids parties, sweet 16s and under. And sometimes I'm leery about using the product with the kids, but it's like, when they see, they get excited about it. But I always have a warning sign: warning, do not eat the tablet. Like,
Right.
because they want to try it. Like, oh, what is this?
Yeah,
No, put it
yeah,
back down, leave it alone. But I usually, like, I put it at the bottom, then I pack it with regular ice. So by the time, they even get to finish the drink, it's already dissolved.
Right. Exactly.
So that's pretty much it.
I would love this for like a wedding. I feel like this would be amazing, especially for the brides that want like the glitz and the glam, which is me. I mean, just throwing that out there, Stella.
I'm here.
Stella's gonna be
Let
planning
me
my
know
wedding sooner than
I
later.
like to do that because, a lot of people are about detail and colors. Like, I want a signature cocktail that'll match my decor. I'm like, okay, I can do that.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's not a problem.
I love that.
I love that.
So, have you ever had a bride ask you to like make a drink and name it after her or something like
Yeah.
that? Yeah, I would love that. I feel like that would be so cool.
We definitely can. We can come up with a couple signatures for you and your husband.
Yes.
Lee.
What do you like?
Mm-hmm.
No pressure, Lee. No pressure.
Throwing those hints, ladies. Yes. All right. So I'm loving this, and like I said, I always order Sex on the Beaches, so I'm so excited about this. So it's wedding season. I mean, I think Rich from GP Entertainment said the other day that like every season is wedding season nowadays.
Yeah.
But I tend to think that wedding season is a lot, like it's definitely in the summer.
Yeah.
And I recently just had my biggest wedding of my career. I just did the makeup for the Carson Wentz wedding, and it was amazing. I just felt like this was a wedding that got it right, like for me. I've been involved in a lot of weddings, and when you're the help, you just kind of like watch from behind the scenes, and you're just kind of like, okay, or you're like, yes. But there was every aspect of this wedding was just like amazing, and I've been pressuring my boyfriend since then that like let's get this show on the road because I need Stella to go to work.
I'm ready.
So yes. So Stella, talk to me about how you transform bride's vision and just make that day everything that they want it to be.
So for me, preparation is like everything. So during the consultation, before the consultation, like I tell everyone, you have to come prepared. And what I mean by prepared, what inspires you? Now, back when it's amazing because I haven't even been married 6 years yet, and like so much has changed, and I wish I knew the vendors I know now, like back then, because my entire wedding would have been completely different. I was telling my husband, it would have been so different.
Yes.
But like Pinterest, I didn't even know what Pinterest was 5 years ago.
yes.
So
I'm
Pinterest,
addicted to
yeah. It's like, it could be a good or bad thing and make or break thing. I think Pinterest is awesome for inspiration, but at the same time, too much of it, it's a lot to look at.
Yes.
So I ask everyone to come with ideas. What inspires you? Is it your grandmother's lace hanky, that you want to see that lace print on your cake and like throughout the wedding? Is it a specific color that you saw walking through Target? I don't know.
Right.
Just anything that inspires you. And something I always tell my couples to do is come prepared. So come prepared just means be on the same page. Be on the same page. There's nothing worse than coming to a consultation. And some grooms, they're very involved, and some are like kind of involved, and then you have some that are just completely hands off. But for those ones who really want an opinion in the wedding, like be on page with them. If he's like, she's like, oh, I want pink dresses, and I want it to be pink and purple, and he's like, no, I want it to be blue. And come prepared and come on this same page.
This is my day.
Yeah, come on this same page.
Do not try me. I'm telling you, that's what you don't want to do. Like, don't try it.
I just told my husband today, I was like, if we were to redo everything, you wouldn't have had a say. Like, I felt like I made that mistake. Trying to involve him, and he's hearing it even almost 6 years later. But, come prepared, be on the same page. Be on the same page with budget, too. Budget is huge. That's one of the first things I ask all my clients. What is your budget? Because if you're coming to me and you're saying that you want a cake suspended from the ceiling, and you want a floral wall, and you want...
Somebody asked that for real?
No. Oh. Actually, no, I did have one person, but her budget didn't support it. And I'm like, well...
Exactly.
What is your budget? And you tell me, oh, my budget's 10 grand. Well, 10 grand is not going to get you everything on your list. So, you have to, as I do, like make lists for my brides. What do we need at a wedding? And then what do you want? Right. And how can we come to like a middle point with colors, with decor, whatever the cake is. Another thing I tell my brides, don't jump the gun. So if you are like, you're excited now for me, everyone laughs at this, but for me, like 6 months prior to my wedding, I went out with a fake engagement ring. I went to different venues. I picked out my venue before I even got engaged. So by the time
You was
I was on it. So the week I got engaged, I went right to, if I got engaged on a Sunday, I was in a venue on Wednesday. The pink. I was like, I know exactly what I want because I went prior.
You were like, get up. Yes.
Exactly.
We have to go.
I did. But don't jump the gun. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I wanted to get married here, and here is this ballroom, super luxury, and it's just amazing. But then you come with all your inspiration. You booked it. You come with all your inspiration. Everything is rustic. You've jumped the gun. So now we have to backtrack, because as wedding planners, like, we negotiate those contracts, things that are going to work, things that are not going to work. If you're telling me you want a cake suspended from the ceiling and they say, well, no, you can't touch anything of that sort, but you sign that contract, it's kind of like, and if it's high on your priority list, you're kind of, it's backtracking. It's a lot of backtracking. And then, you could lose your money, that down payment. So, don't ever jump the gun, and just come prepared. Be prepared with your budget, with your color inspiration, things of that sort. Yeah. I love vision boards. I get them all the time, and I love them. Yes. So just come prepared. Yeah.
So I'm so glad that you said budgets, because I feel like in hair and makeup, so I'm going to come to you, Paula, it's so saturated. Everybody's a makeup artist. Everybody does hair. And I'm just like, okay, like, I don't knock anybody. I'm never like, oh, well, I can do better, because I think that with makeup, every artist has their thing. Yes. I could specialize in that fresh, like, a nude look. Yes. And someone else could specialize in, like beat faces. Right. But Paula, talk to me about how you educate your clients on how important it is to hire professionals. And then I'm actually going to hear from everybody, because I feel like we're in this era of I'll do it myself, or I know my sisters, cousins, uncles, aunts, pop-pops, grandmom's neighbor who can, set up a bar and just sprinkle some juices in, or who can like play an iPad or something like that. Yeah. So like, talk to me about how you educate your clients and explain to them how important it is to have a professional for this special day. You only get one day, and it's so important to make sure that this day is memorable, and there's not like, oh my God, her hair looks great, but her hair, maybe it's not. So talk to me about that.
Absolutely true. See, because we are in the era of YouTube, so YouTube has everything. So you watch a video once and people think that they can execute what they see on a video, which I say it's best to hire a professional hairstylist that specializes in what you need.
Yeah.
Because you can hire a professional hairstylist that's only good at weaves, or that just may be good at cutting and color.
Right.
But you want to hire a professional who is good at as far as weddings and special events, because they've already did the trial and error.
Yeah,
They already
yeah.
know what's going to work, what's not going to work, what's going to happen with camera. If your hairstyle lasts the whole day, they would know. So you want to definitely make sure you have you want to pay a professional to do your hair, because when you look back at your pictures, you don't want to sit back and say, oh, I love that day, but my hair was a mess. Or
Exactly. Like, what was I thinking?
yes, and often it happens.
Right.
So it's just, you're going to have so many things to worry about on that wedding day. I tell everybody, like, when I got married, everything was planned. I just knew everything was going to come out just fine.
Right.
But the day of, so many things happened, and I said, oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. Like, you can never plan for what may happen on your wedding day. So to take less stress off of you, hire a professional to do your hair, makeup, everything. Because when you leave it in a professional's hand, you have contracts. You have to hold them to that standard in which they said that they were going to do. So
Absolutely.
if you do it yourself, guess what? If it mess up, that's on you.
But I think what you said also about hiring a professional that specializes is very important.
Exactly.
Because even from my own experience as professional and being like a bride,
Yes.
there was certain things where I went to a professional, but it wasn't the right professional.
And that
You know what
happens
I
a
mean?
lot.
Because they
Yes.
didn't specialize in doing weddings. Like when I did my
Exactly.
hair, like it took way too long, and then it frizzed up.
Yes.
And I was like, "What is life right now?" So I think that's very
Yes.
important. No matter what field, DJing, everything, you have to get
Yes.
somebody that specializes in that because
Exactly.
they know it the best. And
Exactly.
like you said, they'll make sure like the hair lasts the whole day.
Exactly.
So yeah,
So true.
yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. I definitely think, too, just like you said, you know, with the Carson Wentz wedding, it was like a timeline. Obviously, with every wedding. And we were racing up against, like, rain and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, one of the girls, her makeup was done at 7 o'clock in the morning, but the ceremony didn't start until 6 p.m.
Wow.
So, you know, you're looking for a professional who has the tools and the things that you need for your day. You know, if it's in the summertime, it's August or it's July, you know you're going to have those temperatures in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
If your foundation catches you slipping, honey, those pictures, like, you'll be like, what? So, you know, it's really, really important. And I feel like with budgeting, it's like, oh, you know, this person is cheaper. And I always tell people, you know, at the end of the day, choose who you would like. You know, definitely it's your choice, but you want to be asking these questions like, how long will this foundation last? You know, will it hold up against the crying? You know, it's a wedding day. Like, I already know I'm going to tear up on my day. So it's like, is it going to hold up against, you know, sweat, tears, the longevity of the day? Like,
The
it's
hugs
just,
and all
yes,
that.
the hugging. You know, you
All
get
the
that
hugging.
foundation on that gown and it's going to be a problem. So, you know, you really want, I always say it just pays to pay that professional and have that peace of mind knowing that, you know, it's just going to be your perfect day. It's going to be a day that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. But Marquita, talk to us about the people who are like, oh, well, you know, we're just going to have like some wine and, you know, my cousin's uncle used to be a bartender like 30 years ago, and he could just put some rum and coke, you know.
I've heard
got
so
y'all.
many like horror stories about weddings and hiring, not even hiring, but just getting my cousin and sister on. Oh, she used to be a bartender 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I feel that it's very important. I just got a call maybe like the other day from a client, and her wedding is May of next year. Oh, don't spill the drink.
No, ma'am.
So, yeah, her wedding's next year. And I always ask, do you have a budget for your liquor? Do you have a budget for your alcohol?
You need one.
And you need one. And she was like, well, I don't. I said, well, what do you like to drink? What does your husband like to drink? Blah, blah, blah. And I kind of like I have to pull it out of them because they're like, well, I don't want to have too many people, drinking. I don't want to have them drunk, but I want them to have a good time. So, I just go through a list. Like I offer them a shopping list. You'll have your basic top and bottom because I feel as though whatever you put in front of someone, they're going to drink it, regardless if it's top or if it's bottom shelf. Some people don't even know the difference between top, bottom, and mid-grade. So you want to have a list that kind of caters to your guests. You want to have... I guess you want to do like a champagne toast if you want to have a signature cocktail for your cocktail hour. And then if you want to have an open bar, do you want to have a cash bar? Do you want to just, go for what you know? And it also depends on like the wedding setting. If it's like a backyard wedding, if it's, you want to have it in Hilton, if you want to have it, downtown, it all differs. So I have to ask, pull the questions out of them to see what is it that they like. It's about what you like. You're not budgeting off of what anybody else like. You're going for what you like, what you can afford.
Right.
So that's why I always offer the shopping list. And it helps them out because they look at it on paper like, oh, I'll never think about it. Because if I don't offer a shopping list or you don't actually hire a bartender, you tend to overspend. And then you have cases and cases of beer, cases of wine, cases of liquor that you're probably not ever going to drink because everybody aren't, they're not drinkers. So that's why I think hiring a professional bartender or bartending company, such as Jelly Kisses, will help you out, at the end when it comes to planning your wedding or planning any event.
Right. So Stella, how are you, like you said, you have that bride who has a $10,000 budget, but she's like me and wants like angels hanging from the ceiling and, things of that nature. So how do you wheel us in? I mean, you won't have that problem with me because we're just going there. We're just gonna do it. It's gonna happen one time, and we're gonna do it.
We're gonna just do it. We're just gonna go
And
for
leave
it.
playing. So I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
So how are you helping those brides who have that budget that is not matching what their needs and their desires are for that special day?
Or they're balling on a budget. Listen.
Yeah, or vice versa. Like they got money to blow.
So I think with someone who doesn't, because if you have money to blow, I mean,
Okay.
sky's the limit. We
Yeah,
just go. But for those people who have that smaller budget but want something nicer, I feel like there's so many ways around it. I mean, you could, and I'm not saying spend 90% of your budget on the venue. That's it. Don't do that.
Right.
But there are different ways that we can glam it up. It could be the place settings. The centerpieces are huge. The centerpieces will be so big in that aspect. But again, I feel like with the bride that I did have a lower budget, but she was talking about floor walls and a cake suspended from the ceiling. I'm like, okay, let's come to the middle somewhere.
I like that idea.
Cupcake from the ceiling.
My only thing is I feel like it looks cool, but in my head, I'm one of those people who is like, okay, like what can we do to come around that? So we ended up doing like a cake because anything, like Paula said, anything can happen on your wedding day. Yeah. So next thing you know, that cable snaps, your cake's done. Like, so
That makes me mad. Think about it.
Right. We're so worried about it dangling from the ceiling, we don't realize, like, hey, listen, this cable could snap. People who, unfortunately, no offense, have kids at their wedding, and you have them poking at the cake and trying to get like a little lick, and it's just like
poking at the cake.
Yeah, I didn't have kids at my wedding. I fought tooth and nail with my mom, but
no, ma'am.
But I feel like there's ways around that. So I love making lists. Everything, my entire life is schedules and lists. And what do we need? And then what do we want? And then the things that we want, how can we incorporate them in things that we need? So the floor wall was an easy fix. I'm like, that's not super pricey where we can add it into the budget, but maybe we can get rid of the suspended cake and we can do it on a really nice table. We can speak to floral, so coming to some middle that still gives them that wow factor without the costs. And I think it's so important, and I say this all the time, like hire a planner, solely events, hire a planner. I was just at a brunch last Sunday, and one of my fellow planners, hi Alicia, said, she was like, if you look it up, Google 10 most stressful jobs. She was like, we're number 5 behind policemen.
Wow.
Like, so let that sink in.
I'm not surprised.
So so it's a lot, and a lot of the clients have careers, they have family, they like to travel. So if you're willing, and it's not 2 hours a day, like fit in another work week, 40 plus hours into your week to plan a wedding, then go for it. But what's going to end up happening is that you're going to be resentful. You're not going to enjoy the time. You're going to look back and go, oh my God, I hated it. I hated planning. Well, hated shouldn't really be associated with your wedding.
Yeah.
You know? So there's a lot of things. And then you start relying on other people who have lives of their own to do things. And they didn't expect that. And then it's not to your part. So it's just so much that comes with that. So when I say hire a planner, I know it's being biased, but really hire a planner. Hire a planner. They know what they're doing. We know what we're doing. We can negotiate those contracts. Oh, I want my floor wrapped in white. They just told you can't touch that floor. So you just signed that contract. So, you know, so I think it's smart, and you save money as well. Like, you know, you don't like Marquis said, you don't know what you're overspending. My last wedding, they way overspent. I was like, isn't there like a calculation that you use that you have to like with the liquor? And he's like, yeah, I use that calculation. It's like, you did? When I tell you they were handing out cases of liquor, big bottles of wine just for people to take. I was like,
I see it all the time.
it was so crazy. And I told them, I said, I feel like this is just a lot. I was like, what do y'all need? Like, you may disagree. What do you need like 8 bottles of Crown for? Like, what do you need like 16 bottles of Hennessy for? By the end of the night, they're handing them out. And I was like, I told you. I mean, they were amazing. Don't get me wrong. But it was overspent. It was overspent. And it came out of their pockets. It was like a gift to the bride and groom. But even at that, even with that, you overspent. And I just, so, hire professional people.
Definitely. And
they know what they're talking about.
Exactly. And just like we said, hiring professionals that specialize in weddings.
Absolutely.
Like,
I think it's so important.
Because I know DJs that do clubs and do parties, but I feel like DJs for weddings are totally different. So talk to us about your, you know, other gigs that you might have versus the weddings. Like, what sets them apart, and, you know, what do you think is definitely different? Because I know, like, some of the weddings that I've been to where I've done touch-ups, you know, there's been feuds between the music, between what the bride wants and between what the family wants, and they don't want cursing, and then they want this, and they don't want this, and it's like, it's very awkward for other people around. It's like, I'm looking like, well, what that DJ gonna do? Like, he's gonna go with the bride, he's gonna go with the mother of the bride. I'm pretty sure they paying, but it's her wedding. So I just be sitting there like, let me get my drink and watch it.
Sip your tea.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot, which is why you should hire a DJ that does weddings. For example, just talking about requests, when you're dealing with all those different kinds of requests, the bottom line is, as a DJ, you have to put the bride and groom first and then the guests. Right. So it's whatever they want, but on top of that, weddings are a formal affair. They're a family event. So you may have kids there. You may have those older grandparents there. And Grandma Sue doesn't want to hear somebody twerking up on somebody and slapping the bitch in the face. Like, so to compensate for that, you do have the clean versions, but maybe you leave that kind of hard music towards the end of the night where Grandma Sue's like, it's past my bedtime and I want to go home anyways. So being as though we're wedding professionals, we know how to work around that, where we're giving the bride and groom what they want, but we're making sure it fits in at the right time. Exactly. On top of that, like if you talk about like how you said different events, engaging that and stuff like that. I mean, one thing our company always says is that we're not wedding DJs, we're DJs who do weddings. So what that means is we mix, we have a crazy ton of music, and we're always downloading and staying up to date because we deal with so many age ranges, kids to, you know, the oldest adult. We deal with so many different cultural backgrounds, so we have to stay up to date with everything. On top of that, the events that we do keep us current. So we're doing Sweet 16s, we're doing schools, we're doing proms, we're doing, you know, college events and stuff like that, and then we're also doing weddings. So it preps us for that because we stay in the now. And also, you know, with Rich and I, we're not like most wedding DJs where they're up there in age, like the 50s and 60s, and they have their set wedding list of 2018. You know, only choose from. We're top 100. We're not that company. So yeah, the bottom line is because we're DJs, but because we're also professionals in the wedding industry, you get the best of both worlds.
Yes.
So you're not going to get a fade in and fade out kind of DJ. You're not going to get a cheesy DJ that just only plays what he wants to play, what he's comfortable with playing. We're going to make sure, you know, we cater the best to the bride and groom and then also to their guests and, you know, fit everything in accordingly. So.
Definitely.
Have you ever had the instance where, like, maybe a venue came with a DJ, but they really wanted to hire you? Have you ever been in that situation?
Oh, plenty of times.
Really?
Plenty of times.
And how do you deal with that?
And the venue sees why, you know, they hired us. So it's, you know, I haven't ran into any. I've ran into it, but it hasn't been an issue.
Really?
It's just been vendors where they have this what they call a preferred vendors list.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And so they have a company or two that they're used to working with.
Okay.
And then when our company comes in, you know, we're like we've been in the business since 2004, but really DJing for about 5-6 years.
Okay.
So we're well versed in it, but we're also, because we're young, we're in with the now.
Got it.
So we come into these venues and we kind of, you know, break up their traditional way of doing things.
Where were you when I got married?
Yeah, like a lot of
I
venues.
don't even want to talk about 2004 GP Entertainment because
That was back in the day, GP.
I don't want to talk about it because
Jenaé's mad right now.
I'm
It's
still
okay. It's
upset.
okay.
They used to dance like when I tell you, it was like
okay.
a whole like one-stop shop.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
literally, I planned a carnival and they came and like there was dancer, like everybody was like, yes, like everyone was living their best life, like getting their life on the dance floor with them,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, I love
Wow.
and they don't do the dancing no more.
We
She
dance
is
on the
like,
side. But what happened
Just
5-6
saying.
years ago, we started really dipping into the DJing side of things and getting into weddings and stuff like that. And so,
I'm here
yeah.
for that, but y'all need to bring back the dancing. Too.
Oh,
Yes,
Coming
please,
soon to a theater near
please.
you.
Yes. Like I would love like a little routine at my wedding or something. Okay. Listen, that's coming soon too.
I know it is.
She's dropped hints this entire time.
I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes.
Yes. But let's get into another wedding. So I know you guys have all seen the royal wedding.
Yes.
Yes.
Like that, I got up at like 5 a.m. And it's so funny. Like I didn't think I was gonna wake up, but like my body like was like, you have to wake up.
See, I'm going to be honest with y'all. That day, I did not get up at 5.
Really?
I saw the highlights.
Oh my god.
I couldn't do it. I
They
was
did
like,
replay
listen.
it for anybody.
They
who's
did.
listening,
They
but I
did.
didn't get
But
up
I
to
got,
make
my
it.
body woke me up. It was like, girl, get into this wedding. Like, you're going to need these tips, you know, get into this royal wedding.
Yes.
But, like, talk to me about some of you guys' favorites from the wedding. Some favorite things that you loved.
I would say for me, I just love. So, technically it's a celebrity wedding.
Right.
If you
Yeah.
really think about
Yeah.
it, because you know
Yes.
they're known worldwide. They're the, you know, what is he, Prince? Yeah, Prince. I don't know nothing. Okay. I really came on there. I'm not that girly into weddings and stuff, but I saw that. But Prince Harry and Meghan. So, with them being of such a high status, it was refreshing seeing. Like, it just seemed like they were genuinely in
Yes.
love.
Same
Like,
thing.
it
I'm
wasn't
the
just
same.
a
Yes.
show they were putting
Yes.
on.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
the way they looked at each other when they were
Yes.
up there at
That's
the
the best
altar.
part.
Absolutely.
When they came out
Absolutely.
to church, like, there was all these crazy moments where they made this eye contact and her smile. It was just so genuine. And it was just refreshing to see as, like, you know, like I said, as people who are celebrities end up there and says it's not just a gimmick and stuff like
Right.
that, or just
Yeah.
putting on the
Right.
show for everybody.
Right.
So yeah, it was just refreshing seeing their genuineness. And I actually, as far as makeup now, you know, I'm not the makeup expert. So if I say something crazy, you just let me know. I don't know. But like
You are fine.
with Megan's makeup, it was more of like a natural, fresh touch to it. And I'm all for the glammed up
Yes.
look.
Right.
But
That's one day.
that's just
Right.
something that I like. I prefer like the natural kind of
Yes,
look.
me too.
That's not really what's happening on. I don't know what's going on with my face right now, but
You look
whatever.
great.
Yeah,
You
you
But
look great.
but I really like
Stop
that natural look.
Yeah.
I thought it was nice. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I thought it fit her nice too.
Yes,
Definitely.
definitely.
I think that people don't understand. And I think, you know, obviously it's a personal preference, and people are doing themes a lot. People are doing 20s and
Yes.
different stuff like that. But I just think it's important for wedding makeup to be so soft and beautiful. So like
agree.
Yes,
soft
so
glam. The people who want these crazy smoky eyes, like, you know, and I'm sure you guys educate your clients as well. Like I try to educate them. I'm like, well, you know, it's your wedding, like you want it to be soft. Like again, unless it's like a theme, that's something totally different. If you're doing 20s and you know you have this era that you're doing, that's something different. Obviously, we're gonna do the makeup according to that. But I absolutely loved her makeup, and I thought it was just so appropriate for wedding glam. That soft, effortless look. And people think that like, oh, that was just a few things. Like, no, like don't get me wrong. Natural looks probably can sometimes be a little bit more complicated than like like super glam.
So
but I just felt
more complicated. That's
absolutely. Paul's like yes.
Yes.
Because the idea is like you want it to look like effortless and natural, but you know the skin is the skin, and you know everybody's skin is different, and you know you're going, you know you're color correcting, you're doing all these different things, but at the same time you can't do too much, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you're doing a lot of things to make it look like I just woke up like this.
I'm glowing.
Exactly.
Naturally.
Like it's a natural glow. But I absolutely loved her makeup. And I love just getting into the products. I found out that the liner she used is a MAC pencil that I love. Like if I was like NC20, like for you guys, that's like a lighter foundation. If I was like an NC25, NC20, like that Teddy liner that she used, I would be using it every day. It is like a nice, like almost goldish, like bronzy brown liner, and she used it in the waterline, and it just was like, I was just like, yes. Like you understand. I can't tell you, like sometimes it's like a struggle. Like I had one bride last year who wanted like, this is no lie, and she's gonna, when she watches it, she's gonna be like, ugh. But she wanted rhinestones on her face.
Wow.
Yes.
Where on her face?
She saw Pinterest, like, you know, everybody looks on Pinterest, everyone looks on YouTube. But I was like, send me some looks. You know how you guys are like, give me your ideas. So she sent me the looks, and I mean, it's somebody that I've known for a very long time. So I had this relationship with her. I was like, girl. Nope. Send me another picture. The next picture was like still some rhinestones. I was like, okay, so we're gonna talk at your trial because these rhinestones, like people get so crazy. And it's like you don't want to kill their vibe and shatter their dream, but at the same time, it's up to us as the professionals to educate them. Like, I was trying to explain to her, you have to watch with trends too, because again, this is your wedding that you're going to do one time, and you're going to look back at it 10 years from now, and you're going to have rhinestones on your face, and you're going to be like, was I a bedazzled like Susan Frank, like, you know what I mean? You're gonna be like, what was I thinking? So you just want to educate them and help them, and at the same time, you don't want to kill this image and you know this idea that they have. But at the same time, it's like it took a lot. Like she was dead set on some rhinestones on her face, and I was like,
did she want them like at the corner of her eyes? Like,
no, it was like a whole like scene of rhinestones on the side of her face. And then it was like a smoky eye. Like it wasn't even just the rhinestones, which that wasn't gonna happen.
So what's her theme, like masquerade?
No,
there
was no theme.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and it was so funny, like, because I educated her and we got through the trial, and then on the day of, you know, I was doing her bridesmaids, and I was like, so do you guys want to see like what she like was trying to go with? And I told them, they were like, oh no, like they literally like let her have it. They were like, no ma'am, no ma'am.
You
would not exactly. They were like, thank you, because no. But she was just like one of those girls. Like she's like me. She likes the glitz, the glam, but you know, it's just a certain time. Exactly. So you know, like wedding is not the time to like, you know, do some body paint and things of that nature. But again, if you're doing a theme, you know, I'm not gonna knock you. But you know, stuff like that, I do try to educate my brides and just kind of say like, okay, you want to be able to look back and say, okay, like I still love that, you know, 10, 20 years from now. And like you said, we are in that era of YouTube and like Pinterest and all these different things. Like, did you guys see the squiggly line eyebrows that were trending for a little while? Like, can you
that was
imagine?
scary. That was so scary to me.
Can you imagine if somebody like got that for their makeup? I mean, for their wedding.
I thought it was a joke.
That's what I thought. It was scary looking. I was like, what's that?
Why would you want your eyebrows look like snakes?
It did. It's why?
Yes. Definitely.
You know, the
I would
media has
definitely.
to take over.
Yeah.
It's like people see it and they're like, yes, I want that. And it's
Why
like,
though?
"Nah,
Why?
not
How
a
could you look
wedding."
at that and be like, yes, that's what I want?
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
What I liked about the wedding was her gown. It was so simple.
Yeah.
I love
It
a
was
minimalist
so
look. It's
simple.
really beautiful.
I loved it, and I just was like, even how her hair tied into everything. Like you said, with a wedding, you want it to be simple because you want to look like the princess
Right,
from
right,
Disney
right.
and
Right.
stuff. You want to look beautiful, and you
Right.
want to enhance the most natural, your natural beauty as
Right.
you can. So I just loved just the
People
simplicity
had
of
such an issue with her dress, but I think because one, if you're in the royal family, there's so many rules that you have to
Exactly.
follow,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
people miss that point.
Yeah.
But I love a minimalist dress. I thought
Me
it was
too.
beautiful. It suited her. I felt like her wow piece was her cathedral veil. I
Yes.
was like, ooh. But I just like the simplicity of it all. I loved her makeup. The only thing I had an issue with, the only thing, and it's just me in details, is I guess she was supposed to have like tendrils in her face, like her gown, her second gown, but she kind of like tucked it behind her ear, and I'm like, can someone just get her a bobby pin just to like tuck it back? just to
That's the
pull
wedding
it up.
planner in you because I didn't even notice that.
I had no
The
idea.
whole time, like, please, somebody. No one has a bobby pin in their purse.
Oh, that is the wedding planner in
Just take
you.
it up, like that little
That
piece.
is
Just
so-
pull it up. It just was like you would just take your hair and pull it behind your ear, and that's what it
Yeah.
looked like. I'm
Yeah.
like, can we just pin it? Just somebody, just grab a bobby pin from your lapel.
I gotta go back. I gotta go back and look at that now.
Something, but I liked her hair. I love a bun. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with a classic bun. I felt it could have been neater because of that. Other than that, I felt like the simplicity of the day was wonderful. I love the relationship she has with her mom. I think that was sweet. But I also, going off of, piggybacking off of Gia, I love the way it was like, he's saying certain things like, you know, you look so beautiful, so you make me so happy. I'm like, God.
He sounded
Say
so
it to
genuine.
me.
Like, I can't
It
get
was
over that. I love
gorgeous.
It was
Like
that
every
fairy
time
tale wedding.
it was
It
the
was.
exact
It
same
really
feeling
was.
every single time, and it was just really beautiful to see that type of love play out on
Yes.
on the
Yeah.
screen. It was great.
Right.
Definitely.
Loved it.
I'm not gonna say I didn't like her dress. I felt like it looked great on her. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Exactly.
I just thought that to me, I feel like in everything that we do, because we're gonna talk about outfit of the day in a minute anyway. But I feel like everything that you wear and you do, you're showing a little bit of you.
Absolutely.
You know? And I felt like that's who Megan is. She seems like very simple, very much, you know, a confident person, doesn't really need a lot to just be happy.
Right.
So I felt like that was that portrayed in her gown. I feel like she was like a friend in my head. I feel like she
Yeah.
would just be that friend that just like throws on like a t-shirt and jeans and like so cute no
Right.
matter what. You know what I mean?
I think people are also looking at, when you look at royal weddings and the bigness of it all, like Princess Di, you know, even Kate. Like, you know, so I think people were looking for like a wow, and then when they saw, they were like, oh. But minimalist is so pretty. It really is. Because you do something else that makes people go wow. Like, you know, so I loved it. I loved it. I think people were just so like, oh, it's gonna probably look like Kate's. It's gonna do. I'm like, well, no, it's gonna look like Megan's dress. Like, you know, it's gonna look like hers. Let's calm down. But I feel like when they start to look, you look through the years and how like glamorous and big and like gaudy in some sense everyone's dresses were. I think that was like, oh, it's gonna be something of the sort. And even Kate, hers was a big princess dress. Not everyone's into that. So I think that's what everyone's expectation was. And when I saw it was like a letdown, I'm like, not to me. It seemed pretty normal to me.
I'm definitely glad she did what she wanted with that, because everybody just has these high expectations, and it's like, what do your expectations matter?
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. It's not your wedding day.
Right.
Are
And it
you
was
getting
like,
married
let's
to Prince
compare the
Henry?
two.
I mean,
Okay.
Harry.
But why? They're two different people, two different styles, two different weddings. Like, why compare?
Right.
Like, why start something that's just so like trivial?
Yeah.
I think that what that wedding got right though was the ability to mesh the two cultures together. That part I was just like so proud. I just loved it. And I feel like with a lot of weddings that I'm sure you guys have all done, you know, you do get those different cultures and multiculturals. And I feel like it's just so important to make sure that, you know, every culture is highlighted and appreciated and mentioned. And, you know, talk to me about you guys, the clients that you have that, you know, you might have a groom of this ethnicity and then a bride of another ethnicity. How do you guys work with both to make sure that you are appreciating both cultures and really helping them mesh both families together?
Well, for me, the biggest thing, of course, is music. You have to make sure you have a healthy balance of both.
Absolutely.
Because if it's straight split, like the groom side is Indian and the wife side's Filipino, something like that, and you really have like a large crowd on the right side, large crowd on the left side, you have to make sure it's split with the music so that everybody, feels appreciated.
Absolutely.
Right.
And especially when you're dealing with multicultural weddings, you'll have family members there that don't speak English. So if you're dealing with a Spanish and American wedding, then you can't just play, something like Mi Gente and they be fine with that. Like you need to play some salsa, merengue, bachata, like the stuff that they like the real like kind of Spanish music, because they're heavy in that culture. You know what I mean? And then you have to also go onto the American side. But the biggest thing as a DJ is balancing it, because I had to say it, some sides they like to get greedy. And so you'll play like that healthy balance, and they'll come up to you like, "Can I get that salsa again? Can I get that Indian music? Let me get that Bollywood." And I'm like, "Dude, the whole wedding ain't about you. Like, we gotta mix it up." But just learning how to incorporate the music in a balanced way where everybody is catered to each other is important too. And then also knowing the music that both sides know together, so that you don't have any downtime on the dance floor. So like, for example, if you're dealing with a Caucasian wedding and African American wedding, there are songs that will keep them both on the dance floor. Like if it's a younger crowd, like 30s or something, then something like Poison, Belle de Veau. Both sides know that. So you know
what other song I feel like no matter what wedding I do touch-ups for, this is how we do it.
My husband hates that song. But every time it comes on, I'm like, yeah.
Everybody is like, yeah.
I be like Montel Jordan.
Yes.
But everybody be like, yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there's just certain songs that do that.
Yes. Definitely.
I'm going to use my wedding as an example because my husband's Irish and like mixing, like I'm Nigerian. So for my parents, like his parents are older, so they want to hear Frank Sinatra, So and I'm that's fine, but also like my parents want to hear their cultural music. So for them, they were like, "Oh, how are you gonna incorporate?" They were like, "So like, help it. How are you gonna incorporate? Are you gonna incorporate?" I'm like, it'll be fine. The DJ has it. Like, don't worry. Where we have to put like on a USB. But he did such a great job mixing it. And it was surprising because even his side would get up and dance. Like they didn't know 2 words from it. But they're like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. Like, and what I love most about his family is that they were so willing to just accept it. I feel like when you're mixing 2 cultures, you have the people who are not willing to accept another culture, and it's and it makes it difficult. Or they sit out when the other music is on. They sit out, and it's like really like So I think like I'm always like, oh, that's just progression. Like I love to see a progressive couple and a progressive family, but it's just I feel like just like Jason, it's just that balance, and but it's also that family being accepting of of what you do. For me, we had 2 weddings, one in June and one in November, and that cultural wedding, like it was. They talked about it for like weeks. They were so excited to just even be there. They do something which you should omit, and the last wedding I did, we omitted it. But it's called a high table, and it takes like an hour to bring up these dignitaries and these chiefs, and it's and it's like you're eating up an hour of your time bringing up people that it's like, did they give a special gift? No. My mom's probably going to kill me for that, but I don't care.
Listen, Mom, I'm not messing with Stella's mom. That was not
So, I kind of let my mom have that as her wedding. And I was like, just stay out of my November wedding. Just, do your thing. So we had this high table, but even them, they were so excited because some of them were brought up to the high table and they were like shocked, like, oh my God. And they loved the food. And it was like the best party. It was great. So I love the mixing of 2 cultures and being able to balance those 2.
Definitely. Now I know for makeup, when it comes to different cultures, the makeup changes. Sometimes you get brides who in their culture they like to appear lighter than their complexion.
Yes.
Do you run into anything like that, Paula, like with different cultures, with wanting different things? Because that is a challenge for me as a makeup artist. Not necessarily a challenge, but you are going against someone's natural tone, and then you can't you got to make sure the neck and the face are not two-toned. So it's a lot of work that comes into it, but that is something that is a preference for the culture. So what types of things do you run into?
Pretty much, it's not really a lot of different things that I run into. I may run into different things that they might want in their hair, a veil over the face, not in the face, or hair up or down, but it's not really a lot of styling issues as far as with different cultures. One thing I did notice, I went to an African wedding not too long ago, and they changed their outfit like 80 times.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to laugh.
And that makeup, honey. Yes.
Yes.
So, as far as the style itself, that's pretty much open to what the bride want, unless there are certain things where they'll say like, traditionally we'll wear our hair up, or we'll wear this, or I want you to wear my grandma's veil, or different things like that. So that's pretty much the stuff that I'll run into, and if so, then as long as it's okay with the bride, then we'll go forward with it. But in a wedding, you compromise. So you just have to find that medium. You have to find that medium ground and just say, either we're going to do, okay, if we don't do the veil, maybe we'll do something different that can be like the veil. Start a new tradition, do something else, because it is their wedding. So it's just all about compromise.
Definitely.
Right.
Another thing I kind of ask my brides, and honestly all clients, is about allergies. Like, do you have any allergies? The big thing is the organic makeup. And actually people are so educated on makeup now that, they don't want certain brands. They're like, oh, we heard this brand test on animals. I don't want you to use that brand. I'm like, okay, we ain't using that brand. But Marquita, talk to me about, those allergies. And the other thing that I'm learning about is the gluten-free. Because what I had to educate myself about is that even though makeup you're not consuming it, it can be absorbed through the skin. Right. So I had to go on a search of finding gluten-free makeup, or things with all natural that would not have the gluten. So how do you work with allergies and food preferences and stuff like that? Yes.
It's such a headache. It really is. I had a few clients that were on that gluten-free kick, and everything had to be gluten-free. So nowadays I like to use, I think I've been doing it so much because, especially with like the kids' parties or the junior parties, because where I use like a sugar-free juice base.
Okay.
And parents always love it because it's like, okay, well, I know my kids won't be jumping off the wall because I know that's all they're getting is juice or punch. But, we have those that are allergic to pineapples, some that are allergic to oranges, and some that are allergic to, bananas, some are allergic to nuts. And a lot of people are not educated about alcohol, about which products, like what is the base of rum, what is the base of vodka, what is the base of this whiskey or this tequila. And I asked that because I've come across one event where I wasn't bartending, thank God, but the bride was allergic to potatoes and some vodka. Believe it or not, it's made from potatoes.
Yes, it is.
Really?
And like she had, she had her drink or whatever. She was having a good time, and all you just seeing her was, and I'm like, what's going on? And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm having an allergic reaction to this. And like everybody was like freaking out and panicking. And I'm like, well, what's wrong? Like, what is she allergic to? The groom was like, potatoes. And so I'm looking like, the vodka, So I just walked over to the bar. I was like, what was the vodka base in her drink? And he was like, what did he say? I can't remember what he, but he told me, and I was like, okay, she's allergic to potatoes, yeah. That, like put that under the counter, and then inform them that this is the base of the alcohol is made from potatoes. So it doesn't come up a lot, but it comes up seldomly, you know, that they have food allergies to certain things. So that's why I like to start going out getting organic fruit, or, you know, with the organic orchids, with the kids parties, like the sugar-free everything, gluten-free everything. So at times it can become costly. So with me, you know, getting these products, like a lot of people, they don't like to pay with your worth. Like they want to pay what they feel as though that they want to pay you.
Yeah.
And with us, with Jelly Kisses, like we come with a whole production line. We don't. We come with a service. You know, we come with the mobile bars. We come with the licensed bartenders. We come with the insurance. We come with the cups, the garnishes, the napkins, the fruit, the juices, the mixers. Only thing we ask you to supply is the liquor. But you know, I can do a shopping list for you, or we can incorporate it. You know, vice versa. So I've come across with so many people where they just want to argue me down about, well, I feel as though I should only have to pay you for this because this is only what you're supplying. But, you know, as a bartender, like, people don't understand, like, this job is a hustle.
Absolutely.
I have to hustle my money. I can charge you but so much, you know, per hour or per 4 hours or however long your event is. But at the end of the day, people are cheap.
Yes.
They don't like to tip. You know, and we're standing on our feet for hours, and we're serving you these drinks, and we're making up all these concoctions, and you know, you're drunk probably maybe like an hour later, and you know, asking us all this stuff, and we're trying to make you feel good so you can tip us some more. But it's like at the end of the day, we're hustling trying to make this money. And I like try to tell my clients, like, you know, I understand this is my, you know, you have your budget or whatever, but, you know, what I'm telling you is this something that, you know, is covering me and it's covering my bartenders, because, you know, at the end of the day, like, I have to pay them.
Absolutely.
I want to get paid too, you know, but I still want you guys to have a good time. So it's not always about the money.
Right.
Like, you know, something, you know, it's a service, you know, I want them to keep talking about Jelly Kisses
Absolutely.
weeks and months and later, or refer me to someone else, or, you know, call me back for something else, you know?
Right.
But it's like, it's hard, because I did a party, you know, a couple weeks ago, and the guy was trying to negotiate me with my price. Like, this is what I charge.
Yeah.
This is the service that I provide.
Yeah.
Like, you can't negotiate with me. This is not, you know, we're not bargaining a service. Like, you know, I can't. And then you have people want to barter for service.
Right.
Or they want you to do, what's that, promotional, or they want to do, having a whole brain fart right now. It'll come to me later. But, you know, they want to pretty much barter for service. Like, you know, I provide you with this, this, and this, and you bartend my whole event.
Right. I'm a huge, like, what is that? Instagram. Like, I'm big on Instagram. Like, just, you know, that trade-off. It's like, no. No. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's like, it's draining, because it's like so many people, like, they want you to offer them all of this, but don't want to give up the money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
And I
don't
feel
understand.
like weddings are the day, like, that's the day that you want to spend the
Right.
money.
Spend
Like,
the
that's
money.
that's the one day that you want to not be cheap.
Absolutely.
You want to make sure you get the professionals. You want to make sure they get the people that specialize in weddings, that are going to make this day, like, peaceful. I can't tell you how many brides that everybody else has an amazing time, and they're stressed out, and they had a horrible wedding.
I've seen this so
Like,
many times.
that, I'm not going to be that bride.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Right,
this is my party. Y'all just all
Like, is
come
that they're
in.
at the point, like, oh, I'm so glad this day is over. Like, you, what?
Yeah,
like, you've been
exactly.
dreaming of this
You
forever,
know,
and then you're talking about
absolutely.
you're glad it's over?
Exactly.
Like, why
Right.
should you be so stressed?
Right.
Exactly.
Like, on your
Exactly
wedding
right.
day,
That's
it's
because
your
they
wedding
didn't hire
day.
professionals.
Yes,
Exactly.
Taking
Hire
care
professional
of the
people.
everything.
Right. When I came up with, like, wanting to do a podcast, I said I have to do weddings, because I feel like the education piece is missing, because you know, especially, like, we're all young in our generation, some people have never even been to a wedding.
I know.
So
it's
now
crazy.
you're planning a wedding, or you're getting ready to get married. You've never even been to a wedding.
Right.
So, or you've never gotten your makeup done, or
Right.
you didn't know that wedding planner was a thing other than the movies, or
Right.
you know, mobile bars. You know what I mean? So it's like that education piece is missing, and I get it day to day to day. And you know, I'm sure that's like the number one question you guys ask: what is your budget? And people are like, they come with, like, I had somebody contact me, and they were like, my budget, I forget, it was like something that I would normally charge one person. And I was like, how many people are in your party? They're like, oh, it's 10. I'm like, oh. So here's the thing. One foundation is about $60, $70 sometimes, you know, and you have to make sure, you know, especially with makeup, you want to know what that person has in their kit.
Right.
Like, are they using drugstore products? Nothing against drugstore products, but you have to know what products are going to be what's best for you and what you have going on. It's 90 degrees outside. That foundation will fail you if it's not the right foundation. So I wanted, before we go, I want to talk to you guys about what's in your kit. Okay. So like makeup artists, we have our kits. So talk to me about one thing that you just cannot not have at a wedding. Stella, tell me. Is it bobby pins? Because you're like,
there's so much, because I have so much in my kits, like so much. We'll just go with bobby pin for now. I'm literally like going through my kit in my head, and I'm like, I'm trying to think of like my last wedding. Pins weren't an issue with her. Lip balm was an issue. She was the one that got the makeup all over her dress, and I was like, and for me, I was like, but your dress, like if you, I don't understand how that happened. Like, and I left you for a half hour, and literally I was like, what happened? But it is what it is. I'll just say pins.
Was that after the wedding? Like, was that like before the ceremony that occurred?
That was after the ceremony.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it was after a ceremony. They had just gotten.
I got stressed out. I know, but I was stressed out for it. It wasn't even my wedding day.
The thing is, like, she changed into another outfit, but that wasn't until like hours later. So that makeup stayed on like for hours. So I was
I'm telling you that education piece, because once makeup gets onto your gown or it gets onto some clothing, period, it's not coming off. Like I left a lipstick and a pair of jeans, and it didn't get nowhere on my washing machine or dryer. It was all over my clothes. I had to throw those clothes away because once it's on the clothes, it's done. And the makeup should not be transferring to your gown. Like there's a problem there, like that you don't want to experience on your wedding day.
Right.
Yeah, that's another thing that brides don't understand though, because if you do your own makeup, you're not getting that higher quality of makeup 9 times out of 10. So your makeup is going to be transferable. And if you hire somebody who specializes in it, they're going to understand, like what you were saying before, the waterproof makeup and stuff like that, so that's not transferable.
I find a lot of that. It's like, oh, I'll do my own makeup, or, oh, I have someone else to do it. I'm like, okay, can we talk? Let's talk about this. You know, and you have to, because what I always run into is they don't feel like they should spend that much money on makeup, and I'm like, this is one day. It's one day. If that's where you're gonna spend it that day. You know, and it's a lot of conversation, and I'm just always shocked at how many people are like, you know what? No, I'll just that's all right. I'll just do my makeup. I know how to do my makeup. First of all, it's your wedding day. And again, anything can happen. Next thing you know, exactly. Who doesn't want to be pampered on their wedding day? So for me, I'm like, let's talk a little bit, because that's let's have this conversation. It's the same thing with hair. They do the same thing, and I'm like, let's have a conversation. Like I don't get it. I'm like, it's the one day to spend the money, spend it right, and be pampered. Why not take that opportunity to do it? Because what's going to happen is you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, my nose is all sweaty. Oh, I'm super shiny. Well, you know what?
Oh, look, my hair, my edges was
right. Now, just a quick question for like hair and makeup. Like, have you guys ever been in a situation where you had the trial? Because I know trials are very important. Yes. And the day of the wedding, they're like, no, I want to switch my look to this.
I personally have never experienced that.
What do you feel like you do in that situation?
But if I did, I would, just be that conversation of, what do you think you want to change? Like, and why? Like, what are you feeling? And then I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with it, because obviously you want to accommodate your brides. Absolutely. But it would really be a lot of conversation as to like what the colors are or what exactly we're changing, so that once I execute it, it's going to be what she loves. Because the part of the reason that we do a trial is obviously to make sure that you love this look, because that is go time. It's, it's the stage. But also, like, so you're cutting down on time, so if I'm recreating this look and you don't know if you like it and this and that, that's just going to be a whole bunch of time that we don't have, because there's always a timeline on weddings. I've never had a wedding where they're like, oh, you can take however much time. It's always like the opposite. We're like, oh yeah, we have to be ready at 11 a.m. and I need you to start at like 9. Like, and it's 14 girls. So, you know, it would be a conversation as what about it don't you like? Or, you know, and then just educating them. Okay, if you don't like that, you know, color in the crease or on the lid, we can add this color. It's a little bit warmer than that color. Like, what didn't you like about it? Did you think it was a little bit too ashy? Or, you know, talk to me about what you didn't like, and that way I can educate you and provide those things for you and like kind of just swap out something. But because, you know, that time is the essence for
really
that
is.
day.
Absolutely.
Definitely. I would say during a consultation, I would have them pick maybe 2 styles and stick with that, and then maybe we'll try both of them out and see how they work. And then on the day of, if it does happen, we'll understand, okay, this one might take longer, but we already tried it out. Or, like you said, try and just add something different to it. Still keep the same type of style, but add a clip to it. Get a bang, add a swoop, add a part, something different, but try and still stay in the parameters of the time frame. So that's pretty much what I would do.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. Something a photographer said to me, hey, Nana, was if you are getting a trial, try to do it on the day, like, you have like an engagement shoot or something like that with a professional camera so that you can see how that look looks on a professional camera. So I thought that was like really good advice.
That is really good advice. Definitely you want to see how it photographs. But if you have a professional artist who, again, specializes in weddings, they'll know how that HC light is going to hit your face, and you won't even have to worry. Because a lot of my brides that I've had, they don't want anyone to see their face. So, like, we'll do the trial, and it'll be just, like, the mother of the bride and them, and then they'll wash it off.
Wow.
Yeah, because, you know, and I'm going to be like that,
That's
too.
true. Yeah, because you want that. Right.
No, ma'am. I got this surprise, y'all. Y'all be like, oh, she came to play no games. Yeah. So I totally get it. And they always ask me, and I tell them it's their personal preference. But I get why they want to do that, because you don't want people to see. I know brides that don't want people to see their dress. Like, you know, so while everyone's moving around, they're like, you know, where's my dress at? Don't let people see your dress. And I like that factor. You know, you do want everybody to kind of be surprised.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, whatever. I'm like the makeup artist that's like, whatever you want to do, like I'm down for it. And the only time I'm going to interject is like just to give you some advice that I think is going to be beneficial to what your overall look is going to be. But you know, if you want to go out, like I know some people nowadays are doing it for like a bridal shower or something like that. But like I said, I would say like my past 6 brides, they were like, I just want to take pictures. And it was just like, one of my brides, she had like her whole bridal party there, and they did like a little something. So she let her bridal party see it, but for the most part, not every day.
Now, as a makeup artist, do you feel like you would do your own makeup or get someone?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like, for you, like, would you do your own hair?
No.
Would you hire somebody?
No,
I wouldn't.
because I really, like, honestly, I practice what I preach. It really should be a day that you are stress-free. Like, I can't tell you how many weddings that I'm just kind of just like I've had to literally be like, okay, so I'm getting ready to do the bride. I need all you guys out. Because you stressed her out, and it's like I'm trying to apply makeup, and her face is rounded up, and she's sweating, and you know, so I've had to kick everybody out. But like a lot of brides, they do get it though. Like shout out to Stacy. When I did her wedding a few years ago, like everybody was singing, like literally I will never forget this wedding, because the whole bridal party, they had like 90s classics playing, and they were singing like in sync, like everybody was singing. I was like doing the makeup like that street back. Yes, like that's how your day should be. Like everybody should be having fun, and it should be carefree, and like I just remember that wedding always sticks out to me because she was having fun. She wasn't stressed out. I mean, her sister had gotten married before, and so maybe she kind of like got the practice. But I just felt like everything just vibed. Like the mother of the groom came over and got her makeup done. Like everything was just like stress-free, and they were just having mimosas and just relaxing, getting their makeup done. It was just stress-free, and I feel like they got it right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any makeup artists in mind? I'm just curious.
You know what? I have so many makeup artist friends. My next episode is actually going to be like all makeup artists, and we're going to kind of, you know, talk about tricks of the trade and stuff like that. But I don't know. I would really have to figure out what my look is because, like I said, every makeup artist kind of, you know, has their specialty.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I kind of feel like some of my friends would be like, yeah, I'm doing your makeup or else.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be one of those things where I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to see y'all, what y'all going to do? Like, what y'all going to fight it out? Like, you know, what we going to have, like, a battle? But, yeah, like, I have a lot of people in mind. I definitely would not do my own makeup. And, like, honestly, I like my makeup done a certain way.
Right.
And I still would not do my own makeup.
So have you guys, I know it was maybe around last year, it was this big thing on social media about this guy. He planned out the entire wedding day in one day for his wife. You remember that?
Yes,
I remember that.
I
It was on Facebook. It went viral.
The guy did?
I loved
He
it.
proposed to her,
That
then
same
it
day.
flowed right into the wedding, like the
Yes,
same day.
the same
Was
day.
it
She
like
had
the
no
production,
idea. Was it real?
like a big production?
Yeah.
And she
That's
put on a
crazy.
dress really quick and
Yeah.
was it that?
Yeah, she actually had on a black dress.
It wasn't Jerry
was so
Springer?
beautiful.
No, it wasn't. Girl, no.
It was so nice.
It was.
was.
It started
Yes,
out.
it is. Girl,
They were
yes.
like, their family were in a restaurant. Like they had like a whole video production. They were in a restaurant and they were eating. The family was there, but she wasn't paying any mind. And he left out, came back in the room, and then he started talking to her. Like, and everyone turned around. Everybody started standing up. She's looking like, well, what the heck is going on? He's like, yeah, I love you, and blah blah blah. And he got on one knee and proposed to her. He was like, we're getting married today, pretty much. So
Dang.
they took her out and took her in a limo, whatever. She went and got her hair, her makeup done, her gown and stuff was already made. But everybody, like all her friends,
Back out now.
I think in the event that her friends already had it like planned out in her head, so they probably was like throwing her hints months in advance. You know, like, well, if you were getting married, what kind of dress would you like for me to design for you, or what kind of makeup would you like? So, but I mean, at the end, like, it was just so beautiful because it was just like, it was unexpected. It was something that he thought out and he planned, and it was beautiful. She was like so emotional.
I think
like,
it's nice to see too.
she
like,
couldn't
a
get
guy
herself
that
together. Like, it was just so
involved.
nice. Like the venue, like the venue was like jam packed. You know, and she was walking in, and it was just so like she didn't have time to do any vows or anything. Like he had this whole script. It was so
selfish
nice
of him. Babe, don't get any ideas.
Don't get any ideas.
That is not happening.
I thought it was amazing.
take
Like,
notes
this
with
probably
that.
like maybe the second one that I saw.
Erase that from your mind.
But it was so nice. Like, I thought that was just like something like thought out, and it took a lot. It had to take a lot of planning, like to the T. He had everything, and the kids knew, and they didn't even say anything. Like,
Wow.
See, I'm that type of person that, like, when stuff is happening, like exciting things, I have to process it. Like in that moment, I'm kind of like my face is like,
no, you didn't have time to process.
in my mind,
It's
I'm
what's
like,
happening?
what?
Right.
Like even at the Wentz wedding, it was like, what is happening?
Sometimes
Like I was not there. It was like 3 days later that I was just like,
wow.
this happened?
Right.
Okay. Wow. Like, you know, like, so that would have been too much. Like, I would have had time. I need time to process,
no,
like,
he
this
didn't have time. She
5-carat
didn't
ring
have
that
any time
was
to like
about
even
to give
mentally
me.
take it in. It was just you have to go with the flow because we're going to do makeup. We're going to go get your gown, pick your gown up, and like when she got to the hotel room, like all her friends and everybody was there. Everything was laid out. Her hairstylist, her makeup artist, the girl, maybe her girlfriend or something that designed her dress for her.
Really?
It was just like,
sounds
wow.
dope if you can handle that.
If
I just can't. I can't. I would pass out.
Like she
like,
was
nope.
like literally falling out. Like she couldn't get herself together because it was like, oh, like this is really happening. Is this happening? Like it was just an overwhelming of emotion for her. Like
Yeah.
she just was like, wow, we were just in a restaurant. Like,
Right.
you proposed to me. I'm getting married the
that would
same
take
day.
some
Like,
time to process.
you planned
I
all
might be
this? Like, you got all my family
process
together.
it
Like, all her
afterwards.
whole
Like,
family.
it's
Like,
like, how do you?
No,
Wow.
I need time.
I think I would need time too because after looking
Yeah.
at her, I would have did this so different. Like, I wouldn't even
Yeah,
had
my
her
whole
there.
wedding
You
would be
nobody really
different.
don't even like her.
Totally different. Yeah, I think for my wedding, my one, like I always say, like everyone's like, "Oh, what do you regret about your wedding?" And you shouldn't have any regrets. However,
Man.
so I know, that
was a lie.
Listen, I let my husband pick out the photographer, and we went to different boutiques and whatever with my mom. That was another thing. I wish I just would have went with my mom and my sisters.
Yeah.
And I went with my mom, my sisters, 2 brides. It was too much. But in saying that, we went to a bunch of boutiques. I think we ended up at like David's Bridal. I was like, all right, let's just try, see what we got here. And that's where I eventually got my dress. It was literally everything I had in my head. I was like, yep, this is it. And it was just, that to me was just like a process. But for me, like David's Bridal, they offer like photography. And my husband, I don't know what he went up there for with me. Maybe because Men's Warehouse is affiliated, he had to pick out like whatever. And like as we were walking out the door in my head, I was like, please do not mention this photography. Do not mention this photography. It's important to me. One of the most important things: spend money on photography.
Yes.
Definitely.
If I would look back, I would do videography as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yes,
you know what I mean?
100%.
Getting the opportunity to like sit there and
Shout out to
rewatch
Savage
it.
Media.
100%.
But for me, and then as soon as we were walking out, they were like, oh, we offer $900 photography. That was like the beginning of the end. And I was like, and I was telling him his name's Chris, and I was like, hey, Chris. And I was like, listen, let's not do this. Let's think about, no, I like the way $900 sounds. To me, I'm like, because we went half the entire wedding.
Yeah.
We went half. And I said, okay, well, why don't we think about it? Like, I have a few people lined up.
Yeah.
Now, these few people, you're looking at $3,500, but I felt it was well worth it with what we were getting.
Right.
And he was so, like, on, like, we got it, like, this photography. And I'm like, what makes you think you're paying for this by yourself anyway? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he paid for it. But the problem with that is, like, you're literally walking into, like, a dark room because you do not get, I was like, well, do we get to meet the photographer?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Oh, well,
Do you get
That's
to
a
see the
red flag.
photographer's work?
Right there.
No. So you
That's-
meet your
wow.
photographer
On
on
the day.
that
What is
day.
happening?
Wow. No,
On
no,
that
no.
day.
That's
And-
just like that one day wedding stuff.
yeah, that's right. And it was just so like, thank God he had an assistant because he was all over the place. And she kept him like in line. I cannot look at my album and like I haven't touched it since I got it 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That's how much I hate my pictures.
Yeah.
They are so
Yeah.
bad. So my husband has been
Yeah.
hearing it since
then.
that wedding. I said, no lie. I have a photographer lined up. I said, I'm getting a new dress. We are going to redo these pictures.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
going to do it with the
Definitely.
kids. So
Yeah.
be prepared because you ruined that for me. And I was
Yeah.
like, we can't even look back. I was like, I do not. If there were 150 pictures, I'm being generous with 5 that I like.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was bad.
I hear
It's
you.
bad. I'm not a fan. So
Yeah.
it's one thing I always tell people, do not skimp on the photography. And,
Yeah.
you know, with my sister, she's getting married next year. I'm like, her fiance, shout out to Devon, because I had to tell him, I'm like, that's not what you want to skimp on. If you want to cut a
Yeah.
corner, cut it elsewhere. But it's not there. And
Yeah.
she was trying to explain it to him, and she just kind of like reels me in, like, what do you think? And I said, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
you
that's
have to look
yeah.
back at that. Those are your memories.
Exactly.
And for us, we didn't do videography. I wasn't into it at the time. I was like, like no big deal. But now, like almost 6 years later, I'm like, man, why didn't we do that?
And then your wedding day
You
goes
know?
by so fast
Yes.
because you're part of the
Yes.
planning
That is
and all
true.
the stuff is happening.
Yes, it's
and
a
it's like
lot. It was a
you
lot.
really do want to have, and I'm not just saying that because you know my husband's a
Absolutely.
videographer, but like
Shout out to
seriously, like
Savage Media.
yeah, like when we got married, I sat back like at the end of the wedding, and I was like, dang, like it. 'Cause
5 hours goes quick.
People always tell me that we're always telling me that it's gonna go by fast.
Yeah.
And you know, as a wedding professional, like I knew that already, but like to experience on the bride side, it was just like, dang, this really did go by fast. And sometimes I get short-term memory loss. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm not 94, so I don't know. But I just be like, did that really happen? But I have the video to like really
Absolutely.
relive those
That's
moments.
awesome.
And so even with
Yeah.
brides and grooms, like the number one, I think the number one thing that brides and grooms, why they say that they regret certain things at their weddings, that is because they don't hire professionals
Absolutely.
that specialize in
That's
weddings.
Absolutely.
Because if you think about all the things that, you know, certain things that I regretted with my wedding and certain things that I hear brides and grooms say, it's because they didn't have, you know, they didn't put money out for the photographer,
Right.
or they ended up having an iPod playing, or you know, skimped out on like a DJ or something. And now with the iPod, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Because some people they just real chill. They want to have a backyard wedding and just plug in the
That's
iPod.
different, right.
There's certain situations where you just do you, but. You know, the bottom line is if you don't want to have any regrets, hire those professionals because they're going to make sure that your day
Absolutely.
goes by smoothly.
I have not one picture of my centerpieces. Not one. Can't even remember what they look
I don't
like.
remember what my cake tastes like.
Me either.
I don't know what my cake tastes like. I'm like, was it good? I guess so. I don't
I guess so.
remember. It's crazy.
And another
Yeah.
thing, it's okay to be selective with your bridal party. It's
Oh,
another.
100%.
That's like some people
about it.
like some people are
Somebody
so
please
like.
tell that to my friend over here because he wants everybody and their grandmom in my wedding. And no.
Yeah, but that's the
No,
number one thing
be
I say to brides and
selective.
grooms.
Yes.
Like, on top of being selective, remember, like, it might sound stupid saying it, but the day of you're gonna realize what I'm saying is right. It is your day.
It's
It's
your
not your
day.
mama's day.
No,
it's not
no.
your sister's boyfriend's day.
Right.
So
And
as far as like everybody having their input in it, you have to remember that your input
Filter
is
people
number
out.
one.
Yes. Absolutely.
And don't be afraid to say no.
no.
Like,
I was
it's-
just about to
yeah.
say,
Say
people
no.
should
Yeah.
understand. They should know that, like, okay, you're coming to the wedding, you're not in the wedding.
Exactly.
Even if
Right.
you can't come to the
Understand
wedding,
that.
it's like same thing.
Right.
And if
Like,
they don't
people
want to
don't
hear that, that's on
understand.
them.
Yeah.
You're not in the wrong.
Right. I want my cousin. You haven't seen your cousin in 10 years. Why?
listen, I'm just had the
Why?
same
Yes.
conversation
Yeah,
with my
if
friend
it's
over
just,
here.
listen, if it's
Boo Boo
just
from 6th grade that they both had long braids with, and they both had the same jacket. Oh yeah, he got to be in the wedding. I'm like, who is this?
And it's so funny because I feel like that's more with the guys. The guys are so
That is
like,
so true.
you know, where
You're
the
right.
girls are like, no, this is my day.
Yes.
I want the most
That is
important
so true.
people to stand by my side. Because to be honest, there's 2 girls who should not have been in my wedding that were in my wedding. I wanted to
Yeah.
just be my sisters and my best friend at the time. And it was kind of like, well, she's with my brother-in-law. I really don't care. She's with my brother-in-law. Okay,
Yeah.
well, oh yeah, so with your wedding, I'll be able to. And then the other girl, short story, we were at a Halloween party and she told the girl, oh, Stella's going to put you in her wedding. So I'm ambushed at a party like, oh, I'm going to be in your wedding. I'm so excited. I'm like,
Are you?
what's happening?
You should have been like, you're sadly mistaken because you're not
I
going
was
to be in my
so
wedding.
confused. And I'm not friends with these girls. Not to say I was friends, but I'm not, like, we don't even talk. And for me, I just like look back and I'm like, why didn't I just stick to just my
Yeah,
sisters?
like, that's
you know
the
what
number
I
one
mean?
thing. Like,
And
don't be afraid to
sometimes
say
you
no.
don't even need to have anybody. It's okay.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't have
okay,
that.
though. That's
That's
okay.
okay. Or if it's just your best friend.
Yeah, yeah.
Please don't feel obligated to choose a family member. People do that. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you know, I have one sister and I have this best friend. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and they're like, but my best friend's like my sister. Me and my sister aren't that close, but she's my sister.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But your best friend is who you want by your side.
Right,
That's who
right.
you choose. And if you need to explain that to your sister, then explain it to her. Let her down gently. But I feel like it's important. It's an important day in your life, important day in your journey. So why just place somebody? You
Exactly.
don't need placeholders. You need those
Yeah.
people who are going to be there for you.
And I've seen weddings make and break relationships.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And it's sad. Like
It
it's,
is.
it's
supposed
like
to be
there's
such a
so much
joyous day.
pressure like on you as a bride. Like, okay, going through the list, who should I invite? Who should I not invite? You
Right.
know, I gotta go to his side. I have to go through my side.
Yes.
But what do you like? What does he like? And it's like I had even with just being a bartender, like the bride ran it down to me like, well, his uncle, his cousin Tone from down south, he likes this. And I'm like, well, wait a minute.
What?
Is cousin Tone paying for this wedding?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is cousin Tone paying for these cases that you about to purchase for
Yeah,
him
right,
and his
right,
and
exactly.
your other family?
People
Like,
get
no.
so hung up on trying to please everybody.
Yes, you
It's
can't
not about
please
them.
everyone. You can't please
Right.
everyone on your budget.
Right.
This,
Right.
this is your budget. It's for
Yes.
you, but you and your husband decide. Not with everyone else decide. Not with everyone else. Like even when it comes to the cooking, the chef, you know, whatever. Oh well, so and so don't like chicken, or so and so don't
Well,
like
then
fish.
fish.
Oh,
Right.
well. What do you and your husband want? What do you want
Absolutely.
on your plating? What do you want to eat? What do you want to serve? Do you want to have buffet style, or do you want to have like? It's crazy. Like it was like, why did this relationship just go south?
Right.
Just
right.
off of
It's
just
all
planning,
about, right.
yeah.
you
People
know,
start focusing on
about
pleasing
what
other
you.
people.
This
or
is
pleasing
what
their
you
moms.
want. Yes, like that bridezilla is
have a
it's
lot.
for real. Like
Exactly.
Yeah, I never do a
Right.
bridezilla at my
I
wedding.
know.
People didn't like me. I didn't care. Because you like
That's
you
how I
have
am,
to-
G. I'm like,
Yeah.
you don't like me, you'll be
Just
all right.
about to say, I feel like that's the beauty of having a good DJ and a
Right.
great wedding planner because
Right.
I feel like I could be like, well, Stella said no.
You put the blame on us.
Yes.
But Stella
At the
said
brunch,
no.
yes. At
And
the brunch, one event planner, she goes, I always tell my clients, I'm your bad guy. And I was like, when she said that, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what we are.
Right.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're mad at me because you could, last wedding, you're mad at me because you couldn't go into the limo.
Right.
You're okay.
Yeah.
That's even with requests. Like people come up to me with different crazy requests, and it's like this ain't gonna fit the vibe. And I always tell the bride and groom, do you want to open up the floor to requests? Because if you do, I'm not going to take them all. I'm just letting you know that now.
Yeah.
You can open up the floor, but if the request doesn't fit the vibe of the night, it's not going to be played. And as long as you're okay with that, I'm good.
Exactly.
And they usually are. Some of them just be like, don't even do requests, and I'm like, that's fine. But you always get those guests that come to you with something crazy, and then you got to tell them no because it don't fit the vibe of the night. They want to throw a little temper tantrum, and I'm like, this isn't your day. I don't want to play what's on your iPod. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand why as soon as a wedding comes up, guests think that they're the ones getting married.
I know.
It's insane. Even parents get bad. My parents were great. Like, thank God that like they were great.
My mom snuck in there once.
But
I was like,
there's just like certain parents like and even siblings. I remember I did this African wedding, and we were getting ready to do the grand entrance, and the sister was involved, and she mentions to me, she said, my daughter's going to be walking in. I said, that's not on the timeline. I go strictly by the timeline, and I go over everything with the bride and groom the week of the weddings, because the closer to the wedding day, the better, because that means there's less things that could come up and be variable. And so I talked to the bride. I was like, are you okay with this? Because this is not on the timeline. And she was
no.
okay with it, but it was like in the back of her head, she was like, I don't really know.
Yeah.
But now I'm just, in my mindset, I'm just like, nah, I'm just going to cut it, because at the end of the day, like, it ain't about, like, at that point in time, I was younger in my DJing career, and so I didn't want to step on anybody's toes.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, step on them toes, because you want to make sure the bride and groom are happy.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's it. So,
do you guys feel like in this situation, let's just say you have a great aunt that's like, I'm going to give you $250,000 to pay for your wedding. Do you feel she should have a say?
Wow.
No.
Okay.
I was about to say,
Okay.
Because my thing is this: I don't care if you put $1 million into the wedding.
It's still my day.
It's still your day.
You're just you're the one that's just the bank.
Right.
Now, like if you want to make a little like music request or make a suggestion,
Yeah.
do that in a respectable manner, but don't be like, oh, because I put up all this money, this should happen, this should happen. You're not getting married, boo-boo.
Right.
You're not.
Right.
And if you're so mad about it, you should have never paid for it. Like, I just don't understand that entitlement that a lot of people have, especially when money is involved.
Absolutely.
Like, the money's supposed to be a gift, basically,
Exactly.
to the bride and groom.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not for you to. This
Control.
wasn't a
Like,
deal being made.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's how I feel about it.
Right.
I 100% agree.
I agree.
Yes, lots of tips. I hope people watching are taking notes, because you have all the professionals here. Before we go, I want you guys to just talk to me about your outfit of the day. Talk to me about something why you chose your outfit of the day. I'll start. I chose a little t-shirt dress. It's from Love Moschino, but just because if people who know me know I'm a tomboy, I love the Eagles. Like, I would play football myself if I could. And I just feel like a t-shirt dress is like one of those things. It's like both, you know. It's like it's not too dressy, but it's like kind of dressy. And of course, I paired it with a pair of pumps. But I just feel like this is just, if you know Jenaé, you know that like I'm rough and I'm girly, which is crazy. I have brothers, so. But yeah, that's really like my outfit of the day. What about Stella?
I always choose to go simple. Like, I don't go over the top with anything. It's just not me in terms of I'm gonna throw, and I love faux fur, but I'm gonna like throw faux fur, nothing. I just like to keep it simple. I love black. I love colors, but black was just like the choice of the day. Yeah. But yeah, I love jeans. They're just comfortable.
Can't go wrong with some jeans.
Yes, dress up anything with jeans. I could throw my sneakers on as dress down. So
Yes.
it's versatile outfits.
Yes.
So I'm pretty simple. I love black. I'm a hairstylist, so black is the go-to everything.
Dark
so,
black like black.
Yes. So I just have pretty much everything I have on is from Forever 21. My shirt is Express, I believe. But high-waisted cut-up jeans, you can't go wrong.
No.
Can't go wrong at all.
Yeah,
And my open-toe booties. And my little cardigan, shrug, whatever you want to call it, I'll wear it with anything. I will. So that's my go-to. Pretty much, I'll have this shrug on with anything. My jeans, I'll wear all year round. So
right.
that's just me.
Yes, I'm the same way with open toes. People are like, "Why do you have on those open toes?" It's
It's just a
December.
peekaboo. Like,
Don't talk about. Don't ask me about these fashions. Okay, don't ask. Yes.
I really am not particular about because I'm plain Jane. When I'm bartending, like we do have a uniform, which is a black button up and different color bow ties, and black dress slacks and little low top sneakers. But just have on a regular simple dress and these shoes that are like the most comfortable. People always ask me, why the heck do you have on heels? Because I'm 5'11", and I always wear heels.
Listen, tall people can wear heels. Right. Don't be shy.
And I always wear my heels. And I'm like, well, the taller the better. Like, my boyfriend is 6'5", so but I'm pretty much simple. Black is always my go-to because it always makes you look slimmer.
Yes, of course.
But just simple black dress and some little shoes. That's about all.
Love it. Gia, tell me about this jacket because I'm loving
I
it.
love red.
Yes.
For the camera. GP all day. I custom made this jacket. I'm so hype about it because one, it's like GP entertainment gear, but two, like this is my favorite jacket because I customize it. I put all these different patches on there.
It's so dope.
And I did all these different patches because it's around music and DJing.
Right.
And it's a conversation piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one thing about music is that it bridges the gap.
Yes, it
It,
does.
Yes, it
it
does.
creates unity no matter what the
Yes.
culture is. And so that's another reason why I love DJing. So with this jacket, you have so many different artists on here, from Wu-Tang, like straight hip hop, to
Hendrix.
Prince,
Rolling
to Jimi
Stones.
Hendrix,
Yes.
to Rolling Stones, so it's like,
it.
Tank.
like I remember,
Listen, taking it back.
listen, going all around the world. I do wanna,
Yes.
if I have room on this jacket, no, I don't think, well, I got a little bit of room to put a little bit more, but I do want to get another jacket where I just patch it all up, like the same way. Like everything on here means something to me.
Right.
Like live to rock, rock to live. This is from a rock band called Pantera. And I just relate to it because rock meaning DJing. Like I rock out a set, like I DJ because it's in me, it's my passion. Like that's what I want to live out. That's my life. And then, I live to do it because I'm so passionate about it.
Right.
Yeah.
I see the turntable.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a turntable, and all that. So, and then I have my high-waisted red jeans.
I love that.
This is kind of like I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, I guess. I wore jeans like this the other day, and I'm like, I guess I'm switching it up a little bit. I don't know. I decided to wear some heels with it. I don't know if it really goes. I'm not.
It does.
I just DJ. I'm not much of a fashionista.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got a little crop
Stop
top,
it.
and that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I'm behind the bar. Like nobody really sees us. So it's like,
I have 2 kids, so I can't get dressed. It's Sundays. That's it. They're dressed,
Yeah.
and I'm like, t-shirt, jeans, I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah, I will say when I DJ, like, I always think about me being the show because I'm hosting it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I always, look my best when I do it. So I might be rocking different colors, different blues, this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, I'm not a fashionista. So I'm not going to come out, looking
Right.
with the faux
Right.
fur. I'm not going to come out like looking like high, like the best fashion of the fashion, but you're going to look at me like, oh, she's somebody.
Right.
She comes in like,
Yeah,
oh, just
yeah.
do this.
And I got
No big deal. Yes, we got this like black and red type of thing going on
Yeah,
that was
I'm
not
loving it.
planned.
We
but,
did not plan this.
when
This
the
is
girl
not
walks
putting
blink-
it at all.
when the girl walks this blink, it's like, the great minds think alike. Yeah.
I like it.
Yes, thank you ladies so much for coming
Thank
for my
you for
first
having
episode.
Yes.
Yes. Before we go, I want to talk to you guys about my product of the week. I'm going to do this at every podcast. I'm going to talk about what the product of the week is. So I wanted to showcase a product from another girl boss, which is Rihanna. You know, she has her new line Fenty. Which is not so new anymore, but it's newer. And she came out with all these different highlighters. I personally, even though I'm in black a lot, like as a makeup artist, I love color. It's actually how I fell in love with makeup because I just love the colors of it. No one in my family wore makeup, and I didn't really see makeup. I saw makeup at funerals, and it was really bad makeup.
Right.
That's what attracted me to makeup is the colors. I just love colors on the face. So what I love about Rihanna is that she is putting together all just colors. Like she has a blue a blue highlighter in this collection. Like it's just amazing the things that you can do with colors, and people have been so afraid of color and uneducated on makeup. And the number one question I get is like, what lipstick do you think goes well with my skin tone? That's like my love-hate question. Because like I hate it because it's just so dated. Because like you really can wear any color that you're comfortable with. But I love it because it just shows that there is that interest there, and it does give you a chance to educate people. So the product of the week is Fenty Beauty's Kilowatt Foil. This one is called Mimosa Sunrise and Sangria Sunset. My little non-fashionista over here is going to let me try it on hair.
I'm so excited.
I see glitter.
Yes, just so you guys can see it. Nice. I know when I saw this orange, and I actually haven't used this at all. I just popped the tag on it. But when I saw this orange, I was like, oh, that's probably so pretty on like different tones, period. Whether the lightest tone or the deepest tone. So I'm really excited. I'm actually going to mix the two. I love doing that with highlighters. Like I will take a highlighter that people will be like, oh no, that's gonna look ashy on me, and I'll mix it with something else and they'll love it. So I'm actually gonna take both of them. I'm using a MAC brush. It is the 135. I love this brush. We call it like the kitten paw because it doesn't look like a little paw. So come closer, Gia. So I'm just going to take just a little bit. For somebody like Gia, who she says she's not like a fashionista, I'm not going to go crazy with highlighter because you don't want to overwhelm her.
You got room?
Okay. Yes, smile for me. And what I'm looking for is the bridge of her cheekbone. So I'm literally just going to just take this. And
I see it already.
Yes. So good.
I see already. It's nice.
Yes. And I'm literally just going up. So a lot of people, when they're applying makeup, they're always like pushing down. We don't want to do that with the skin because we don't want our skin to be dragging down. We don't want to have wrinkles and stuff like that. So I'm going towards the apple of that cheek. Ooh, that apple is amazing. And I'm just going up like right towards where her brow line is and just kind of like dusting it. So again, Gia said she's not like a fashionista. I'm not going to go too crazy, but I do love highlighters. So I'm going but this type of brush, like a fluffy brush like this, is going to like dispense product like just very lightly. It's not going to be too much. If you have a denser brush, it is going to apply a little bit more product. But I just wanted to just like kind of dust it on there so that she just gets a little something.
I see it.
Not
That's
too
good.
crazy.
Yes.
And then always at the bridge of the cheek. Highlighting on the face, you just want to highlight the areas of the face where light would touch. So obviously it's going to be like that apple of the cheek right here. We're going to put a little bit on the nose, like the bridge of the nose. A lot of people do right below the brow line. Just like those type of areas.
People still do that because I heard it was dated, but I do it.
I do it. I did it tonight.
I like it.
Yeah, I
That's the
like
thing with
it.
makeup. Like there's so many, there's going to be trends. There's going to be like all different things that kind of go out. But I always like to say that there's no rules because that's not a bad way. As long as you're like using sanitary things and using, great products. I don't really think there's like not the best way to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in this day and age, it's like you could do so many different things.
Right.
So. A lot of people always ask, like, do I need to tie this color in with, like, what I'm wearing? Again, that's all about who you are. I'm starting this hashtag, and I want you guys to use it, called #ForeverDoingMe. It's always about you and what you like. If you don't want to wear makeup one day, that's up to you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not somebody who's going to say, oh, every day you got to have a beat face. Do you. Do what you think is comfortable, what makes you feel beautiful. Like, I think that makeup is something that just accents your natural beauty. It's not something that you are ugly and it just makes you so pretty. So, you know, just do you.
It is nice. It looks good. I like it.
Fenty in the building. Fenty Mimosa sunrise, sangria sunset, and I love it. It looks
really good.
On you.
Awesome.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to give me some Fenty.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to try it too. So
Yeah.
I like her line.
I really do like her line a lot.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. So thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, ladies, for coming, being a part of this episode. And I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.